Good morning, dear students. Myself, Jeenu Malik. I will help you to understand Geography of class 10th. Today, we are going to start a new chapter, chapter number 5, Minerals and Energy Resources. Dear students, today we are going to cover the following topics: Introduction, Classification of Minerals, Mode of Occurrence of Minerals. Let's start with the first part, and that is the introductory part. Dear students, we will start this lesson with a story. The main character of this story is a boy named Haban, and the second character is the father of Haban. So, Haban comes to Guwahati. Guwahati is a city in Assam state. So, Haban comes to Guwahati with his father from a remote village. And in Guwahati, he sees people getting into strange house like objects which move along the road. He also sees a kitchen dragging a number of houses along with it. So he is amazed and asked his father that, Father, why don't our houses move like the one we saw in Guwahati? ये बात सुनकर उनके जो फादर थे, he replied that these are not houses, they are buses and trains. And unlike our houses, these are not made up of bricks and stone. These buses and trains made from metals like iron, aluminium, etc. And they don't move on their own. They are driven by an engine which needs energy to work. So, after getting this answer, there are lots of questions rises in the mind of Haban. Questions like what is metal, where these metal come from, what is energy, and how this energy works, etc. After this story, I am sure these questions also rise in your mind too. So, dear students, now let's find out the answer of these questions. Dear students, our earth crust is made up of different minerals, and these minerals embedded in the rocks. Various metals are extracted from these minerals after proper refinement. So, in other words, we can say that minerals extracted from rocks. And why these minerals are so important for us? Dear students, minerals are an indispensable part of our lives. ऐसा पार्ट जिसको हम सेपरेट नहीं कर सकते. Almost everything we use, from a tiny pin to a towering building, big ships, roads, railway lines, machineries, implements, all are made up from minerals. Along with these, cars, buses, trains, aeroplane, these are also manufactured from minerals. And these vehicles run on the power resource which derived from earth. So that's why we can say that minerals are an indispensable part of our life. Beside this, even the food we eat contain minerals. In all stages of development, human beings have used minerals for their livelihood, for their decoration, for their festivals, for their religious or other ceremonies, rituals, etc. So, the conclusion is minerals are very much important for human life. Dear students, even we can take a small example of the importance of minerals in our life, and the small example is our teeth. Dear students, to clean our teeth, we need toothpaste, and this toothpaste which clean our teeth made up from lots of different minerals. For examples, minerals like silica, limestone, aluminium oxide, and various phosphate minerals do the cleaning. Fluoride, which is used to reduce cavity in your teeth, comes from the mineral fluoride. Most of the toothpaste are made white with titanium oxide, and this titanium oxide come from minerals called rutiles, lemnites, and antis. Dear students, the sparkle in some toothpaste come from mica, and the toothbrush and tube containing this toothpaste are made up of plastic which come from petroleum. So, after this whole passage, I hope you can understand the importance of minerals in our life. Not just these basic amenities, even the all living things, included the plants, birds, animals, human being itself, all living things needs mineral in their life. Life processes cannot occur without minerals. Although our minerals intake represent only about 0.3% of our total intake of nutrients. But this 0.3% is very important for us, because without this 0.3% of minerals, we would not be able to utilize the other 99.7% of the rest part of our food stuff. So we can say that the all living things needs mineral. Now the next question is, what is a mineral? Dear students, geologists define mineral as a homogeneous naturally occurring substance with a definable internal structure. To understand it better, we must know the meaning of homogeneous. So, homogeneous means a mixture in which the composition is uniform throughout the mixture. Now, let's take an example to understand the concept of homogeneous. Dear students, in this slide you can see there are three ingredients: water of tea leaves, milk, and sugar. After mixing them in two different cups, so the result is, in the first cup we see a very well blend of all three ingredients. In this cup we cannot find out the different ingredients with our nude eyes, whereas in the other cup we can see the visible lumps of milk and sugar with our eyes. So, the first one is an example of homogeneous mixture, and the second one is an example of heterogeneous mixture. Now, let's take some more example of homogeneous. In this slide, we can see an example of homogeneous mixture and the example of heterogeneous mixture. In this juice, we cannot find out the different particles or grains of apple, because this juice is uniformly mixed, whereas in this image we can see the different grains or particles of different things which are not uniformly mixed. In this image we can see evenly distribution of the particles, whereas in this image we can see unevenly distribution of particles. So this apple juice and this one is an example of homogeneous mixture, whereas this salad dressing and this image is an example of heterogeneous mixture. And dear students, as I already told you in the definition, that minerals are homogeneous naturally occurring substance, not man-made. These are naturally occurring substance and every minerals have their own definable internal structure, means ऐसा structure जिसको हम define कर सकते हैं. So rocks are the combination of these homogeneous substances which are called minerals. Dear students, minerals are found in a varied forms, and the variation in their nature is ranging from hardest diamond to the softest talcum powder. What it means? It means minerals can be as hard as diamond or minerals can be as soft as talcum powder. Dear students, our rocks are combination of homogeneous substance which we are called minerals, and sometimes these minerals consist of a single minerals, and sometimes these rocks consist of several different minerals in varying proportion. Till now, over 2000 minerals have been identified, and the formation of minerals depends upon the physical and the chemical condition under which the material forms, and the variation in their physical and chemical condition, it results in a wide range of colors, hardness, crystal forms, luster, and densities that a particular mineral possesses. And dear students, our geologists use these properties to classify the minerals. Now, let's discuss the classification of minerals. Dear students, minerals can be classified into three different categories: metallic minerals, non metallic minerals, and energy minerals. Now, let's define the metallic minerals. Metallic minerals are the minerals in which metal elements are present in their raw form. Now, metallic minerals further be divided into ferrous minerals, non-ferrous minerals, and precious minerals. Ferrous minerals, those minerals which contain iron ore, are called the ferrous minerals. For example, iron ore, manganese, nickel, cobalt, etc. Non-ferrous minerals, those minerals which contain metals other than iron ore, are known as non-ferrous minerals. For example, copper, lead, tin, bauxite, etc. Precious minerals, those minerals which have very high economic value, are known as precious minerals. For example, gold, silver, etc. Now, the second division of minerals, non-metallic minerals. Non-metallic minerals are those minerals which do not contain any metal. For example, mica, salt, potash, sulfur, granite, limestone, marble, sandstone, etc. Now, the third division, energy minerals. Those minerals which provide energy or power are known as energy minerals. For example, coal, petroleum, natural gases, etc. These minerals studied by the geographers and geologists for their own interest. Now, let's see what is the role of a geographer and geologist in the study of minerals. Dear students, geographers studied the minerals as a part of earth crust for a better understanding of landforms, the distribution of mineral resources, and associated economic activities are the main interest to the geographers, whereas a geologist is interested in the formation of minerals, about the age of minerals, and the different physical and chemical composition of the minerals. So, I hope you can differentiate the role of geographers and geologists in the study of minerals. Now, let's discuss the next topic, and that is mode of occurrence of minerals. Dear students, after reading this title, the first question which comes in mind, that is, where are these minerals found? If you can recall, we already discussed this statement in our introductory part, and from there we learned that minerals imbibed in rocks. Here we can add something in that particular definition and we can say minerals are usually found in ores which imbibed in rocks. Here the next question is what is ore? Dear students, ore is an accumulation of any mineral mixed with the other elements. What it means that if we need to obtain pure minerals, then it has to be separated from its ore. And this extraction of the minerals must be commercially viable. It means that the input must be less and the profit must be more. To make this extraction work commercially viable and profitable, and also to make it easy, it is important for us to understand the main types of formation in which minerals occur. And dear students, minerals generally occur in the following forms: minerals in the igneous and the metamorphic rocks, minerals found in the sedimentary rocks, minerals found in the decomposed surface rocks, minerals found in the alluvial deposits, and minerals found in the ocean water. Now let's discuss each one of them in detail. And the first one is minerals in the igneous and the metamorphic rocks. Dear students, minerals in igneous and metamorphic rocks occur in the cracks, cervix, folds, or joints. The smaller occurrence of minerals are called veins, and the larger occurrence of minerals are called lodes. In most of the cases, these kinds of formation happen when minerals in liquid, molten, or gaseous form. For example, metallic minerals like tin, copper, zinc, and lead, etc., are obtained from veins and lodes. Next category is minerals found in sedimentary rocks. Dear students, in sedimentary rocks, minerals occurs in beds or layers. They have been formed as a result of deposition, accumulation, and concentration in the horizontal strata. For example, coal and some form of iron ore have been concentrated as a result of long periods under great heat and pressure. Some other examples include gypsum, potash salt, sodium salt, etc. These are formed as a result of evaporation, especially in the arid region. The next category is minerals found in decomposed surface rocks. Dear students, this process involves decomposition of surface rocks. After that, removal of soluble constituent. This removal can be done by water or wind. After that, leaving a residual mass of weathered material containing ores. Example, bauxite is formed in this way. The next category is minerals found in alluvial deposits. Dear students, certain minerals occurs as alluvial deposits in sands of valley floors and the base of hills. These deposits are called placer deposits, and these deposits contain minerals which are not eroded by water, such as gold, silver, tin, platinum, etc. Our next category is minerals found in ocean water. Dear student, ocean waters contain vast quantities of minerals, but most of these minerals are widely scattered on the ocean floor, which make it less economic significant. Some other largely extracted minerals from ocean water are common salt, magnesium, bromine, etc. Along with this, ocean beds are rich in manganese nodule also. Now, an interesting fact about the extraction of minerals. It includes the rat hole mining. Dear students, the most of the minerals in India are nationalized and their extraction is possible only after taking permission from the government. But in most of the tribal areas of northeast India, minerals are owned by individuals or communities. For example, in Meghalaya, there are large deposits of coal, iron ore, limestone, and dolomite, etc. But there, without taking permission from the government, coal mining in Jowai and Cherrapunji is done by the family members in the form of a long, narrow tunnel. That kind of long, narrow tunnel you can see in your slide here. This is known as rat hole mining. Dear students, the National Green Tribunal has declared such activities illegal and recommended that this should be stopped. So, with this topic, we sum up our today's class. We will meet soon in our next class. Till then, do hard work, stay blessed. Thanks.